Today we're going to be talking about controversy and so much that holds us back in our Primerica careers because people label us. And I'm going to go through all the labels and show you how we're not like them. I don't like it when people label us like, well, you're network marketing, or you're this, or you're that, when we're not. We're not any of that. We are what we are. But we like to, I hate when people say, well, we're just like this, because people want to do that. They want to label you, and that gives them a little bit of confidence because they know what you are. And generally, like cliches, are generally wrong. But we, like all presidential campaigns and all elections are based on cliches. And we buy into a cliche. Oh, money's root of all evil. We buy into that cliche. They're all alike. Buy into that cliche. And I like what Abraham Lincoln said. He was once posed this question. He once posed the question: if you call a dog's tail a leg, if you call a dog's tail a leg, how many legs does the dog have? The answer is 4, because calling a tail a leg doesn't make it one. And so the point is, it pays to be a skeptic when people come out and say things and label them like, well, gotta have 5 because I labeled it a leg. Lincoln's riddle signifies the difference between an illusion and fact. In other words, you can get away with a lot by changing the definition of something, but changing definitions won't change the reality. So many of us fight being what could be all that we want to be because we are afraid of the labels people put on us and define us. And because we don't want to be said, oh, it's one of those, we avoid showing what we really are. I love what you said this past weekend, that I'll let you say that, Austin, a little bit later, about you don't change your presentation based upon what you think they're going to say. We are what we are. Instead of, well, we're really not like that, and here's how that works. So I'm going to be going through the various definitions of the things that people claim we are. And I like you heard me say this before, but there's a lot of contempt prior to investigation. Well, I don't like that. Well, have you investigated? Well, no, but I just don't like it. I don't like that. I would never do business like that. I would never be in business like that. Have you investigated it? Well, no. But they think they know what it is. So to start out with, let's talk about some of the things that people claim we are that we get defensive about. And we try to explain how we're not like that or isn't everything like that. And the first one is pyramid scheme. Oh, it's one of those pyramids. The minute you hear that, you recoil because you don't want to be called a pyramid scheme. Remember, contempt without investigation. Now, what is a pyramid scheme? Let's look at it. What's a pyramid? Because a lot of us hear it, we know it's bad, but we don't investigate to even know what it is. A pyramid, by definition, scheme is an illegal operation. Right off the bat, it's illegal, in which participants pay to join and profit mainly from payments made by subsequent participants. It's like this. Here's how you start a pyramid scheme. Pat, we're going to get into this deal. You give me $2,000, right? And I make $2,000 off you. Then here's what's going to happen. You get 3 friends to put in $2,000 each. You make $4,000, I'll make 2. And they'll get their friends to put in $2,000 each. And they'll make some, and I'll make some. No product is being transferred. No value is being transferred. And the last one to get in it there's no one to get in. So that's what they say. That sounds good for the first 4 or 5 years, and everybody's in it, and the last guy is left holding the bag. That's a pyramid scheme. Number one, there's no products. If you ever seen one, a pyramid scheme, I've only been encountered one in all my years. It was back in Atlanta, Georgia. And it was that kind of thing where people got their friends in to make the money, and you can get your friends in, you'll make money, and to get them in, they'll make money, and there's no product. But it's a scheme. That's called a pyramid scheme. The people on top make all the money, and the people on the bottom left hold the bag. Now, are we like that?
No.
So why are we intimidated when people say, is this a pyramid scheme? You know what one is? They don't know. They just use that comes out of their mouth. They've never investigated contempt prior to investigation. That's what a pyramid scheme is. Now, what's a Ponzi scheme? Right? A Ponzi scheme, like Social Security. I'm not negative. I'm telling you, that's how it works. Right? That's how it works. What happens with a Ponzi scheme is they generally have a product, whatever that product is, right? And you buy into that product. Thank you. You buy into that product. You give me $10,000, and I'll guarantee you to double your money in 90 days. Guaranteed 90 days, right? Why? Because I'm putting that money in this special European account that, because, you know, in Europe they make more money faster than we do in North America, because you have the exchange rates, right? And the oil depreciation, debit credit balances of these, right? It's very fancy, right? And so what happens is, I'm going to guarantee you, double your money in 90 days. Meanwhile, guess what I do? I get more people and promise them the same thing. So that when they put their money in, guess what? I give you your money. Now, see, I told you I guarantee your money in 90 days, double. Wow. You got to give me more money now because you want your money double, so now you give me $50,000, right? So now I got $50,000 to pay these people off, and what happens is the money comes in, and I get more money from the same people to pay these people off. It's kind of a what? Pyramid scheme, right? But it's all based on this is what I'm doing with your money, and it's a lie, and it attracts people that are greedy. That they want something for nothing, and they don't really want to know a legitimate investment. Bernie Madoff, as you all know, the way he got into trouble was he started investing in real investments. And he was promising people high returns. And so people gave him lots of money because why? His history of high returns. Well, not every year you're going to get those high returns, right? So he started what? Taking these people money, instead of investing it in legitimate, he started what? Paying the money out. So it just got transferred and never went to this. And so that was all good and well, as long as what? You keep having new investors put money in. Or old investors put more money in. So, are we a Ponzi scheme? No, because there's no legitimate product involved, right? Now, let's talk about multi-level and network marketing. All network marketing and multi-level marketing is based on inflated prices of products, where you have a bottle of something, and it's generally health products or household goods that you claim phenomenal usage for. I take this stuff and I feel so much better. See, I take vitamins every day. I never feel better. I truly do. I take a fistful. Right? I take all this stuff, right? But the claims are big, right? And I put this stuff on my body, I start taking it, and I got healed. They're always emotional, miracles, incredible stuff. All because I drank this liquid, or I took this elixir. Right? And guess what? It's probably about a dollar's worth of stuff, and because it's got these superficial, incredible stuff, they sell for $10 because it's concentrated. African roots of something or other, right? Only people in Africa, the Nepal Valley, live longer because they take this special root. Right? Am I right?
The Himalayan mountain is from the Himalayas.
But we gullible people believe that stuff. All right? Now, and so what they do is they don't want to sell it by the bottle. They want to sell it by the case. Not even the case. They want to sell it by the garage full. Because they don't make any money on per bottle, right? So what has to happen is you join the company, and for $500, guess what you get? You get 50 bottles of this stuff. But your job is not to use the stuff or get your friends to use the stuff. Your job is to what? Get your 10 friends to put in $500 each. And guess what? Really cost $1. I'm going to pay you $5 per bottle. They put in what? $5,000, right? And you're going to make 50%, so you're going to make $2,500 getting 10 friends to put $500 in. And it's a, what? Pyramid scheme using a product as the way to get the money. But because the product is worthless. And then guess what? You get, these people get in 10 friends, and you're making a lot of lump sums up front. The job isn't to go to your neighbors and say, I got a bottle of this stuff for you. You don't want to sell it by the bottle. You don't make money selling it by the bottle. You make selling it by the what? Not even the case. The garage. Or the warehouse. And then what they do is, they put you on auto ship. Not ownership. Auto ship. Which means what? For this thing to keep going, you got to buy a minimum of $150 a month, so it's going to be shipped to your house. They don't want the ultimate consumer. You don't make money when the key is it where you make money when the ultimate consumer purchases the product?
No.
No. None of the multi-level marketing, none of the network marketings make money when the ultimate consumer buys the product. And by the way, Mary Kay is just the same way. You don't think Mary Kay is not the same way? They don't want to sell it a tube of toothpaste. They want you to buy a case of toothpaste, a case of powder, a case of makeup, a case of this, a case of that, right? Because they don't want you to sell it individually. And a lot of times they're products that maybe are not promising great miracles, but they're just average and ordinary day-to-day products that you use in your house, but they are concentrated. So that box of soap you can buy Tide for $4 at the store, we're going to sell ours for $50 because it's concentrated, which means they jack up the price of the product way beyond its value to pay the compensation system to their distribution system. But again, their job is not to get people to buy the ultimate product, and then you make money when they buy the product. You never have people say, I've got this great bottle of stuff. They want you to come in and buy the what? there's this thing out called the travel business, right?
Yeah.
Travel, remember that product? Right, the travel business, it's $1,500 to join, like at, remember that lady you have, that had 1,800 people on it, and 33, that's, you know why? Because people are joining to what? So they can get their 10 friends in, who are going to invest $1,000 each, and they can make $5,000 in a week. Because the money isn't made with individual clients. The money is made by wholesaling it, lump sum stuff. Travel agency, it was a brilliant op. Why? Because there's no product. You can have a buy-in service where you get discounts on your travel. All right? You hear that? Well, I'm going to travel anyway, so yeah. And no one's got the money to travel. And you go to that thing, yeah, you can travel to that place at a discount, but only these 3 days of the year. But they don't tell you that. So understand that when people talk about multi-level marketing and network marketing, it's not what we are. It's not what we're just. No, we're not. I hate people who say that. Like every religion's the same. We're just like Buddhism. We're just like Mohammedanism. No, we're not. We're not. We are what we are. Now, what does it take to join Primerica? $100, right? So if I go out and I recruit Pat, he pays $100 to join. How much do I make?
Nothing.
So you don't make money recruiting people. Now, network marketing, he pays $1,500, but you get $1,000. I'm talking to him. Now, here's how you make money, Josh. You get 5 friends to come in, they put $1,500, right? You make $5,000, but guess what I make? I make about $1,000. I know $200 each. The money is being paid out by what they put in. And by the way, they may get 2 or 3 bottles of the stuff. So there's some product there, but it's not. The product is go down the drain. You're just doing it to get people's lump sums, so you make money. That's how these things explode quickly. I know this guy, he left Primerica. He went out and made $40,000 in 3 weeks. You know why? Because one of these doesn't last. It's like a Roman candle. It's pretty big, doesn't last long. Primerica, we make our money only when the ultimate consumer buys the product. See, most people make their money from the top down. We make our money from the bottom up. So when a sale is made, guess what? They give us $1,000 in premium. You make $500, right, overall. Then the manager makes only then $100, and that manager only makes $100. But a sale has to be made before before any of us receive compensation. In network marketing, in multi-level, you make money whether or not the ultimate product is sold or ever used. That's a huge difference. And so many of us are conflicted because we don't want to be like one of those. Well, we're not. But contempt prior to investigation. Remember I talked about multi-level marketing, network marketing, how they jack up the prices? Well, take a look at us. If you take a look at our insurance, do we jack up the prices to pay for our distribution system?
No.
I don't know the answer to it. If there's 1,500 insurance companies out there that sell term, there may be maybe 5 companies that can beat our prices. Because how many we sell, we can sell, in our mortality and the kind of people we market to, we don't jack up the prices of our life insurance to pay for the compensation system like the soap products do, the cosmetics products do, to the health products do, always those kinds of products. So we're not like those people. We're not anywhere near. how many of us make so much money on our mutual funds if you buy our mutual funds? Because we jack up the cost of our mutual. You can't do that. Can you jack up the prices? They can't. But all those products you can buy cheaper at a store. Every one of those products you can buy cheaper at a store, and at best they have marginal expert evaluation as to their real value to the human being. Well, these experts in Europe say that this vitamin will change your life because it's got the antioxidants, and it's got the liver pill, and it's got this, and it's got that. We don't make those extraordinary claims. So we don't jack up our prices. If anything, where did our system come from? It came from a life insurance industry model. In the life insurance industry, there's something called an agency system. The agency system started out with, you have the company who hires a master general agent. And like me, I'm a master general agent in Texas, as an example, right? And if you want to sell that product in this state, you have to go through the master general agent. And my job is to go out there and find general agents. And the job of the general agents are to what? Recruit the agents. That's how all the insurance companies in America operate, in the world. If you take a look at what is Primerica, it's what? The master general agent. Art Williams became the master general agent. In fact, one of the companies we operated with, National Home Life, Bob Safford, who was with National Home Life, we had a big meeting. He said, we appointed Art as the master general agent. In other words, he had it. So you could not go to National Home Life and say, I want to be what Art Williams is. No, he's the master general agent. In fact, there's one state and one entity in America where you cannot recruit people. You know those two places. Now, I can operate all throughout Canada. In fact, you can't even operate in Canada. Did you know that? You cannot recruit people into Canada. You cannot recruit people into the state of Hawaii. Why? There's only one master general agent in the state of Hawaii. And the other one, Puerto Rico. Other than that, you can operate all just like we're operating, right? In Hawaii, guess what you got to do? You got to put them underneath Ronnie Barnes. He was the first one, right? First one, Ronnie Barnes. And down in Puerto Rico, I forgot his name down there, but everything comes underneath them. So you cannot build RV. Oh, you cannot do that stuff, right? Like in Canada right now. If you recruit somebody in Canada, when they go RVP, you get them back. But you cannot operate in Canada like the way you operate here in the United States. So that's only two entities really, and plus Canada. The bottom line is that's where we got it from. What happened is most companies operate this way, and an RVP is really a general agent. What happened was the companies only pay the salesman and the general agent. Remember I said in a meeting that Art Williams left ITT to go work for Waddell & Reed because they had another level on the computer? We are smart enough to have what? Various compensation levels, not multi-marketing, but multiple levels of compensation. So, but this does not come out of the consumer's pocket. It doesn't come out of our pocket. It comes out of what? Our compensation system. So our company, as an example, its total payout on a life insurance product is 100%, right? No. It's what? Like 160%. So in other words, the company goes to Primerica and says, we're going to pay you 160% compensation on this product. Divvy it up any way you want to. And so what they say is what? Okay, the RVP with the bonus will pay you 130%, right? And then when you produce an RVP, we'll pay you what? 15% and 10%, right? See how that all works? So can you go make more money selling the product at other companies? Yes. But you can never be a general agent. You can only sell. And yet they'll pay a higher compensation up front. But you can never sell. And you can never recruit. So understand our history. Understand where we came from. We just took it and developed mass distribution and ownership with it. Because you cannot own it anyplace else. And you don't have to buy a garage full of our insurance policies. And you don't have to buy a trunk load of our insurance policies. Like one guy said, I got to buy a warehouse of stuff, and my job is to get people to buy garage fulls of stuff, and their job is to get people to buy closets full of stuff, and their job is to get people to buy car trunks full of stuff. Well, there's no one selling the product other than personal usage on occasion. And you join and we asked what they, well, at least you got 20 years of product. You join Primerica today, of the $100, the recruiter makes none. You don't make any money until someone buys the product and the money goes up. In multi-level and in network marketing, you can make money without the ultimate consumer. I got a warehouse of stuff from the company. I'm going to give you a garage full of stuff, and so forth and so on. So everybody's making money, and no one's ever bought the product for its usage. Primerica, when somebody buys a product for its usage, all the compensation goes up, not down. So that's the difference. That's how you got to be thinking different. Instead of saying to yourself, well, he called me this, and I don't want to be called that, so I better shy away from ever showing this system. You see, I'm sorry all these other companies took a beautiful system and ruined it. But we didn't. We are a pure distribution system based on the master general agency contract system that's in existence today. Very similar to real estate. Very similar to real estate in its structure. As an example, there's a guy named Henry S. Miller. He recruited a guy named Roger Staubach. And Roger Staubach made money for Henry S. Miller. But they did not have our system. So what did Roger Staubach have to do? Leave and start his own real estate company. They don't have it. He hired two guys, John Amend and Bob Brunig. Bob used to play for the Cowboys. John Amend, our kids went to Trinity with him, right? Guess what? They could not build anything under their own, so they left and started their own deals. We just found a way through our compensation system, because we had one company that provided our products, they don't, that we could pay multiple generations of override and RVP. Because every company in America today is a spin-off from other companies.
Right.
Everybody's a spin-off. Well, I don't want to get you over, you pay people on that guy and that guy. Let me show you something with him. There's a guy who said, I'm going to start a pizza place. When I was a kid growing up, called pizza parlor. Ice cream parlor. I didn't get the parlor stuff, right? And then guess what? A guy walks in, this is a true story. A guy walks in and says, you know what, boss? You trained me here. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to start my own pizza company. Really? And what are you going to call it? Pizza Inn. And his brother, true story, his brother was with him. They had, I want to do my own thing, so his brother left him, started Pizza Hut. Isn't that interesting? Where do you think it came from? Then there was a young guy that started working for Pizza Hut and said, hey, why don't we deliver pizza? Oh, we don't deliver pizza. Guess what? Domino's. Then there's a guy that starts working for Domino's. I want to start my own thing. Okay, what are you going to call it? Papa John's, right? It never ends. But in our business, Mike Tuttle gets Josh, spins him off, because that's what he's going to do. Everybody spins off. We recruit you to spin you off. Because the good ones you're going to want to spin off anyway. I'm doing my own thing.
Yes, sir.
I was talking to a guy one day, and he said, I don't get all this recruiting people, they spin, I don't get it. I said, where do you work? He said, well, I work for a mechanical engineering company, Bob's Mechanical Engineering. Well, where do you think he got his start? He said, well, he got Ed's Mechanical Engineering. Ask Ed, where'd you get your start? Steve's Mechanical Engineering. Steve, where'd you? John's Mechanical Engineering. And where'd you get yours? It never ends. Somebody started 100 years ago. They spun off, spun off, spun off. That's how you see a real estate office, they're a spin-off from something else. They started with Ebby Halliday, or started with Joe's, or they started with somebody, right? And they spun off. We know you're going to want to leave us and start your own thing. We encourage you to do it. But the customer doesn't have to double up the cost of their products for us to do it. It all comes out of the company's profits. It's already a designed system for all that. But we fight controversy. Which means this, if you do anything, I heard this quote, different scares people. And if it's different, they scare you. I was at McDonald's the other day, and God bless him, a guy that I think he had, cerebral palsy or something. He was homeless. And when he walked by, you can, do you think I sat right next to him? I don't know why. He's different, right? So I moved and sat somewhere a little bit further away. Well, you can condemn me for it, but aren't we all the same? We want what? We want to be around people who are like us. And so, different scares people. It's a natural tendency. So, when we come out as different, it's a natural inclination to go, whoa, what is this? Because it scares them. Right? So therefore, the controversy starts. And you're going to have to learn how to handle being different. We're not controversial. It's just in our heads where I'm saying the word controversy. Are we controversial? What are we doing different that the insurance industry haven't been doing for 125 years? A better product, better service, distribution. Mutual funds have been around since 1928 or whatever it was. How different is that? Recruiting and building an insurance industry has been around for 100-some years. We're not controversial. We're not even different. But we're different than what they're used to. Like when somebody says, if everybody's recruiting, who is selling? You don't get it. Well, how can everybody be recruiting? Well, who's selling? Why? Where does that come from? I work for a company, the steel company I worked for. Here's the company. Bob Blair was the sales manager in charge of the Southeast. And he had 7 of us for the Southeast. We sold, he recruited and trained. I didn't recruit and train, and he didn't sell. See, that's where it comes from, that model. Someone's the manager, someone's a salesperson, but because we're operating in an unsaturated market. This is a saturated market method. At the steel company, there's only so many people that bought and used steel. And we had 110 people throughout the United States, and we didn't grow. Why? Because the usage wasn't there. When a new plants would start occurring, then we could hire more people to represent us there. But when you have an unsaturated market, right, that's where you have to understand when there are more Home Depots in North Texas than there are Primerica offices. Did you know that?
No.
There's like I don't know, 75 Home Depots, not including Lowe's. Ain't that something? We say, oh, we got people all over the place. You want to see your competition? Would you like to see your competition, Shanika? Look right here, look right there, look over here, look over here. You're my competition. And we're trading our competition. There's so much room. Got the point? Our system operates because why? There's a unsaturated market. And that's what you want in your life. Where no one's got it. Everyone needs it. And I'm going to have Austin Durrett now come up and talk more about the concept of how we have to become how we have to create in our minds and strengthen our minds to withstand all what you consider to be controversy.
Man, what a great weekend. If you were there, it was eye-opening and definitely expanded my vision as always. And again, just want to thank you for your leadership. And so I'm going to talk about really what he's been hitting on for years and years and years, just the boldest to be able to be willing to accept it. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through it, and if you're not a note taker, if you don't write down this first part, you'll be lost the whole time. So I'm going to encourage you to write down this first thing. So when I was teaching and coaching, I coached college basketball for 3 years, and I had a coach that he wasn't even my mentor, but it was a small just side conversation one day. But I walked away going, "Oh my gosh, there's so much wrapped up in the conversation." You might be sports fans. If you follow sports, you ever heard of that? What's the term? Sophomore what? Slump. Sophomore slump. And so here's the psychology behind that. And the coach made a comment. He goes, when you're a freshman, and you put don't know that they don't know. Freshmen don't know that they don't know. It's just straight up excitement. In basketball, it's a freshman going 100 miles an hour, doing a whole lot of things right, but because they're going so hard and so much excitement and passion what they're doing, it's better to do that than go slow and methodical, messing up and trying to do things right. Make sense? Freshmen don't know they don't know. Sophomores know they don't know. Hence the sophomore slump. Sophomores know they don't know. Juniors don't know that they know. And seniors know that they know. And so, obviously I learned in a sports setting, but I think you can look at life and apply to so many areas. And I think in a lot of ways you can see this in Primerica. We talk about different levels of Primerica, different, you're 50% contract, you're 70%, you're different, and there's really mental levels in Primerica. Right. And in this situation, don't know you don't know as a freshman, you got that new person that's fired up, spitting vinegar, going crazy, saying a whole lot of wrong stuff. But they're so dang excited, they're going to attract some people. Everybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And they come to that gate's blowing and going because they don't know they don't know. They're just passionate, inspired, fired up. But then what happens in Primerica? They start learning too much. Has anybody seen these cycles? You start learning too much, and you start learning dang presentation, which then puts a cap on your excitement and passion because then you're focused on just the right thing. So you enter a cycle where you're not that good. You don't know. Then you start to get some confidence. And again, in Primerica, you don't know you know. Here's what this looks like in Primerica. In Primerica, you'll be confident and talk about Primerica when you're with Primericans. You know what I'm talking about? Yep. You can be fired up and passionate about Primerica in an op meeting, say, well, this is the greatest business in the world, I'm going to do this, I'm going to change this, but you leave and go get in a situation where you're not with Primerica people, and you don't have the confidence to talk about it. And in fact, most people won't bring it up, because they don't go down that trail. I don't want to be asked when I don't know, I don't know how to explain this, I don't want to do this. And so we're stuck in that world. And then seniors, Primerica senior mentality, they know they know. There's a lot of people, obviously, by the numbers. There's a lot of people in this room. I feel confident. I don't care who you put me in front of. And it's not because I'm saying I'm not saying to get their business. I'm saying I don't care who that is. What their opinion is does not impact how I feel about Primerica. Right. Sure. I can sit with the most successful businessman in the world and he says Primerica's scam on him. Right? You obviously that's smart. Congratulations to your business, but you understand business well enough to understand how. Does that make sense? Their approach doesn't influence how you think. I use that example this Saturday. You could put me in a room. If you're all Christians, pastors, youth leaders, You can say, Austin, talk about your faith. Talk about your relationship with Christ, how you talk to him, he talks to you, how you love him, what he's done for you, your testimony. And I'm going to give my testimony about what Christ has done in my life to this group of people who's Christians, youth pastors, believers. But you can take the exact same room and put agnostic people and atheists in the same room, and the same testimonies would come out.
Right.
Why? Because the group of people does not influence what's in my heart. And my heart influences what comes out of my mouth. Is everybody with me?
Yeah, right.
And so in this world of Primerica, you understand, I know what I know. It doesn't matter what you know. I know what I know about Primerica. Whether it's Primerica, whether it's Christianity. And when I now feel like I'm transferring, and what the steps I feel like I'm taking, I think this same principle applies to the multiples and drawing people forward deep in qualified markets. These very controversial subjects.
Right.
What's been really eye-opening to me, if you sit with people, if you're running a presentation and you discuss the multiples, they're almost always extremely excited about it. Why? Because the people you're sitting with are aware. They don't know what they don't know. If I'm having a first-time conversation, he's going to be fired up, excited, inspired about the multiples because he doesn't know any better. Doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong, that's what he knows. Well, the controversy within Primerica, and again, I don't mean to use the word controversy because obviously we're not controversial, but the controversy per se in these topics, what he's been teaching us for years, is within Primerica. That's what I'm learning. It ain't outside of Primerica. It's with a vice president or a regional manager or somebody you're talking to, they go, I don't know, man, do you think you want to talk about the multiple job meeting? Do you think you want to talk about 3x3 now meeting? Are you afraid you turn people off? And all you have to do is understand, they're not bad people for saying that or thinking that. What's the situation? They're in here somewhere. They don't know what they don't know, or they know they don't know. Same thing. And I say this with a soft heart here because I've been there. Everybody in this room feels very comfortable talking about the multiples, 4D, qualified markets in this room. But you leave here, and we go back to our office, or our Primerica world, our Primerica bubble, and it can be a very uncomfortable conversation. Why? Because you're in here somewhere. You're very comfortable talking about situations where you know you can be confident in the situation. But you haven't yet moved to here. And that's the jump I felt like we made probably 6 months ago. I was just like, man, I've got some very close people in Primerica, some of my best friends in the world. If they don't want to talk about multiples, then I don't need to be around them. And it's not because they're bad people. It's because mentally I feel like I've moved to this level and they're stuck here. Same thing. There are certain people in this room, and this applies to me as well. I'm trying to say this in a nice way, they don't need to spend a whole lot of time with us. Why? Because their level of thinking is a different level. They need to surround themselves with people that are going to challenge them to the next level. Is everybody with me? Is everybody following me here? You've got to understand where you are and be confident and get yourself to the process. And so, and again, I think one thing that is blowing me away the more I transfer here and know, okay, I know what I know, I believe, I understand these multiples, I understand this stuff, is qualified markets. It's blowing me away how that's so controversial. It's actually mind-blowing the more I get into it.
Yeah.
And why? Because it's just a different culture than it was. I said on Saturday, Art Williams and Mr. Orender, these guys knew exactly who they were. We've turned into such a politically correct society that it's not about knowing who you are, it's about appeasing everybody.
Yeah.
It's about don't make them feel uncomfortable. And it's like, that's how they built the business. That's how they built the mega hierarchy. You understand who they were. But that same thing, and I go back to Christianity talk. Man, you're doing that person a disservice. I can't remember who said it one time, but it's such a powerful statement. It said if Christians actually believe what they believe, they'd crawl across a field of glass to tell somebody about it. On their hands and knees. So how deep do you really believe about your convictions about Christianity? Well, the same thing applies to these things also. If you really truly believe in the multiples, if you really truly believe in the power of driving somebody forward, if you really truly believe in driving people and staying in qualified markets, it's a disservice not to tell people that. Because you're cutting their legs out from under them because you have the information they should know. You're here, they're stuck in here, but the only way they get here is by taking somebody that's here and grab them and pull them through the situation, pull them through the cycle. That's what Mr. Orender, Mr. Huff, Mr. Morgan, that's what these guys have done. They've taken us mental midgets, in a sense, that have been here and they're like, good Lord, please start listening. You know more than you think you know. Okay, you're starting to see the light a little bit. They're just moving us through the cycles. Well, here, I believe here's where the boldness comes in. So I say it because if you're not bold yet about the multiples, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just know you got to work to get here. Now here's what I believe how you get bold about it. You don't get bold about it by having Mr. Orender and Mr. Huff, these guys teach about it every day. It doesn't happen.
Right.
Otherwise, everybody in this room has been bold 5 years ago. You get bold by taking action. You get bold when you're sitting in front of somebody and you know, okay, this is going to be a really uncomfortable conversation. Talk about 3, you get 3, you get 3. I get bold at saying, all right, bring it on. Let's get after it. I'm going to say it whether they like it or not.
Right.
And again, what you'll find and learn is they all like it. We've convinced ourselves they're not going to like it. We've lied to ourselves they're not going to like it. And what's it do? It justifies and validates our discomfort and gives us a back door. So how do you address it? How do you get here? Again, this is I've heard this example 1,000 times. You got to burn the ships. Now I believe you got to burn the ships. And the back story behind that is like, again, I'm gonna mess with details. If you're like a historian, just go with it. Like I don't know his name. Hernan Cortez. Cortez was like the 1500s. Was a Spanish conquistador, and I think his objective was to overtake like the Mexico territory, get to Spain. Again, go with it this wrong. And the story behind it is they get to the shores, and his men are whipped, worn out, beaten down, exhausted, mentally fatigued, and all they want to do is go back. Now, also understand, the Aztec culture was like a vicious culture. So they're taking on a battle with vicious people. They're whipped mentally, physically, emotionally. They're about to go into war. It's like, it ain't all sunshine and roses for those people that day. Is that right with me? Yeah. So what's Cortez do? Cortez says, light the ships, burn them. Burn the ships. We're either going down here, we're not going back regardless. We're going to have victory, we're going to get beat here. There's no other. So all of a sudden, when you have a no retreat mentality, when you have a my ship's been burned mentality, all of a sudden you start having those conversations that sometimes we consider ourselves to be, we convince ourselves are tough conversations that aren't tough. You start having those conversations, and then people start seeing a different Primerica. But we limit our people's Primerica based on our own fears and insecurities. And so if I tell you anything, man, I tell you to be bold, burn the ships, be proud of who you are. No, and one thing you also learn to identify as you take this journey, people respect your business a lot more. People outside of Primerica respect your business a lot more. What I mean, the first time you tell somebody, hey, this is not going to be a good fit, you're not the market we work in typically, and they start going, no, I can do this. What do I got to do? You need 25 people, married kids, I got to. All of a sudden, those people start saying, this is a legitimate, valid business, because that's the multi-level marketing concept. Sign them all up. Sign them all up. And that's bogus business. And now, I'm not saying don't recruit masses. You got to recruit masses. Recruit the selective masses. Know the market's negative. This is one thing that's been for me from Mr. Orender is for years I've done very well staying in qualified markets. Very well. One thing I'm so blessed Jeremiah taught me is how to make money early on. And I came on full-time day one, struggled, made 30 grand my first year, made 40 grand my second year, right at 60 my third year. And that ain't a whole lot of money, there's more than I was making coaching. But it's because I was in qualified markets. Where I missed the mark is because I saw qualified markets as client markets. And that's what I think most people do. We pat ourselves in the back saying, I'm not running a non-qualified KT. Because that would be ridiculous to run a non-qualified KT, talk about the product with a non-qualified person. I think Primerica is stuck in that zone of like, I'm doing well because I'm talking about the products with qualified people. Now I'm recruiting all these non-qualified people, and if you got a high skill set, you can recruit the 18-year-old. I promise you I got the skill set. I can recruit an 18-year-old today and close his parents tomorrow. I know I could, but I don't want to do that crap.
That's right.
That's a dying business because you will burn out at some point. When you start merging those and saying, I've got to stay in this market, 4 and 5 corners, married, kids, home, that market is where I recruit. I recruit that market only. And then I may pick up a non-qualified person here and there, and I've said this before, I will not do a dang non-qualified person drop me unless they have a list of qualified people to go sit in front of. That's wasting their dang money. That is, and again, I don't think it applies to this room because what they taught us. So many freaking people Primerica are more concerned about getting a dang recruiting trophy in 3 weeks at a college temple school they are building a dang business. They're more concerned about getting recognized as the 8th place recruiter than becoming financially independent. At some point, again, you burn the ships and say, listen, I'm sorry, man, you're not a good fit. I may miss out on being recruiting, going to get me 9th place next school. But if I'm going, listen, you're my man, as long as you have this list filled out and built, and he told us, exception cannot take you to an exception. So if you are recruiting an exception, they're only putting you in front of qualified people. It's such a mental shift. It's such a mindset. And what happens is, the deeper you get into it, the bolder you get about it. Again, just like Christianity. I mean, I say this all the time. I learn every Tuesday morning. I feel like my faith grows thanks to his leadership, Bible study, Lawrence, the guys in our office, incredible job. But if I didn't learn any more, I'm still pretty confident when I know that I'm going to go tell people about Jesus. Make sense? But I go because I want to grow. You get to this level, and you start desiring to grow more. You see that I've learned, I've hit some levels spiritually, I know, but I'm always going to want to grow. And so if I encourage anything, I'd ask you to identify where you are in this. Because if you're not talking about the multiples of every person you sit with, if you're not telling a brand new trainee, our entire goal is I get you 4 deep in a week where I have failed you. Our entire goal, don't put me in front of your 18-year-old cousin. I don't want to see him. If you're not having those conversations, then you're stuck in here somewhere. And when you get confident, start making that move there, you'll be blown away. Listen, we have a lot of crap we got to figure out still. But it is mind-blowing how much simpler this business is when you recruit qualified markets. So many people, and again, I don't need to go over, but most people in Primerica fail because you're building 2 very separate businesses. You're building a client business, we're going out and selling life insurance and investments. You're building a recruiting business and recruiting non-qualified. And if you think about any legitimate business, I don't know what the ratios are. Like 8 out of 10 businesses fail in the first 3 years. Right. Well, if you try to open 2 businesses at one time, what your success rate is going to be? Right. So it only makes sense that you're going to fail in that business because you've got a split focus. You have to have one focus, bring your business together, recruit in qualified markets, and I promise you'll figure the other crap out. All right? Thank you, Mr. Mr.
Why not bother coming to Century Club? Right there, right? Let me quote Albert Einstein. He said this. He said, great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. The latter cannot understand it when a man does not thoughtlessly submit to hereditary prejudices, but honestly and courageously uses his intelligence. People can't understand it. How come you're not just doing what we do? Hereditary prejudices, right? This is what our people do. This is what our people from our neck of the woods do. We get an education. We get a job. This is what we do. I promise you, very few of your parents are excited about you being in Primerica. It always amazes me when anybody recruits their father or mother. I mean, how do you do that? All my relatives? No. We are union factory workers. That's what we do. That's what our people do. And see, they're what I call system shamers out there. They want to shame your system. Because why? It's different, and different scares them. And it reminds them how inadequate their system is. When you sit down with somebody who's got 100% off one income, let's look at that for a second. Be honest with yourself. Some of you have 100% off one job. What is the end of that story? Let's look at it like we were talking about in Bible study this morning. Anybody that's not a Christian, we know the end of that story. They can deny it, they can refute it, they can make fun of you, but we know the end of that story. See, at the steel company, I knew the end of my story. When you sit down with somebody, it's like he's got a whole life policy. Well, I believe in buy term. I don't believe in buy term, but I believe in whole life. My age is so blah, blah, blah. He still got $50,000. He's still paying for $500,000. He's gonna pay for 2 things, only collect 1. Just because he disagrees doesn't make it better. Just because you say, I've got a good job, congratulations on that one, just wait. I know the end of it. When we sit down with somebody, we got to treat them like they've got a whole life policy. Let me tell you how bad it is. Let me tell you where it's going by using what? Your story, your basketball story, because your teacher story. Well, I'm a teacher. I love my job. I love teaching. Right? They say that for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then what? The underbelly of teaching comes out. Am I right? Oh, I hate my bad, stupid crystal mind. Hey, I just read where the state of Texas Assembly down in Austin, Texas, granted all the teachers a $5,000 pay raise.
Regardless of how good they do, too.
So, if you're a teacher, we know how the people in Austin, Texas that you don't know are determining your pay.
That's right.
I've got relatives that live in Illinois, and one of them works for the state. He's a police officer. He'd like to retire in 8 years. The pension system of Illinois is like $5 or $6 billion underfunded. How do you get an extra $5 or $6 billion? And they're already taxed to the hill. How's that going to turn out? If you say, I want to go work for the state, nice here, secure job. Guess what's going to happen? Like your father, right? What happened to your father with his health insurance? Worked for a steel company for how long?
40 years.
40 years. What happens when he retired to his health insurance?
He kept it for a while, and then they cut it, and then they cut his pension over and over again. Because it was underfunded. They couldn't afford to pay all the retirees what they promised they'd pay them. So they either had to take more money from the existing employees or cut the pension, and what they did is they ended up doing both.
Well, that's not going to happen to me. There's evidence all over the place. I know the end of your story. When you sit down with people, we know the end of their story. Well, he got a good job. He likes what he does. Yeah, wait. How many people here know people their entire life had a boss that they loved? You know, it's really funny how you want a rarity in America today? Find someone who had a builder build their house and they ended up as friends. Am I right? Congratulations. But you know what? I promise you, I can go to 10 other people he built their house and won that case. Because why? Construction industry is rampant with what? Discord. Because you can't get people to do what they say they're going to do. There's so many variables here. There's the economy, there's personality, there is prices, there is foreign competition. There's no way this can turn out okay. And if a person says, well, I'm one of those rare ones, I got it, guess what? They're married to a spouse that hates it. But you got to keep doing the job you hate so John here can keep doing the job that he likes. Right? I was talking to somebody the other day, nonprofit. Worked for a college, raises money for nonprofits, right? And they, oh, this is a good school, blah, 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 blah. And I kept talking, blah, 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 blah. Finally, the thing that bothers me, though, these kids are getting loaded up with student loans. And all these valuable things are good, but is it worth the $200,000 in student loans they have to take? Because you got to take some degree of responsibility if you say, come to my school, take out a student loan, and live happily ever after, name somebody. They can't buy houses because why? Student loans. Credit card debt's going through the roof because of student loans. The government's not backing off because of student loans. And I paid for my kids' college education, so hell no! I don't want the government paying for your kids' college education, which means my money. I worked my butt off paying for my college education for my kids. Don't ask me to increase my taxes to pay for your kids' college education because you're willing to bust your butt.
That's right.
You know what I mean? We got a lot of bad people out there. I paid off my student loans, but why should they get off scot-free because they're a bunch of wimps? You see what I mean? That's controversial. But the point I'm making is, this thing is rife with all kinds of issues. This thing here, no issues. And we've got to understand that our job is to let people know that the 1% off 100 exists. I put this down. This is like a casino where the house always wins. They always win. That's why. What they do with the company. Remember what he said? They cut the pensioners' pension and the new people's pay. The house always wins. Well, I don't like that. That's not right. The house always wins. You know that when you went in, didn't you? Like all these people on death row. They knew, now I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to kill you, and I'm probably going to get the death sentence, right? No, I will get the death sentence. So don't complain when you get the death sentence. You knew that when you shot the guy. Don't go on, I didn't know. You know. Everyone, I'll tell you right in case you don't know. If you kill somebody, you get a death sentence. And that might help somebody. Right? Not too good, huh? And here's one thing I put down. This is so, we fall in love with every company that shows us a little attention. He likes me. He hired me. He offered me the job. Oh, wow. Oh, boss, right? It's kind of like a girl saying, you looked at me, I love you. He showed me attention. You want your daughter dating every guy, marry a guy that shows her a little bit of attention and love? Isn't that what we do with the job? I just get paycheck per paycheck, and the promises just a little bit of hope. They promise you the moon, right? So what happens is there are system shamers out there. What does that mean? Their job is to shame us. Oh, you're in that thing. They love shaming. Oh, I would never do anything like that. Oh, I can't believe you're doing it. My gosh. Listen to this. Here's what I put down. How dare you insult the system that pays 30 death claims a day? This system, our system, pays 30 death claims a day. Name another company who can say that was formed just 40 years ago. Name another insurance company that started 40 years ago. An agency, right? We bring $1 billion a year of more death protection to widows. Let that sink in for a second. We pay $1 billion a year in death claims, of which widows, if not for us, we only got about $250 million. We bring a $750 million value because of our system. Not because our products are so good. Our product's good? Yeah. You know, it's like gasoline. It's good. Got the point? I'm not, I got better gas than you. No, you don't. Insurance is insurance. If it's there in place, it pays off, it's great. And we're the only company that gets it to people so that they have more protection. Our hurricane, we pay 2 death claims a day. We paid over $1 billion in death claims. Because I'm so good, I'm so talented, our products are so good. No, the system caused people to go out there and people buy life insurance because of the system. See, it's not like soap where, it's good. These vitamins are really good. Here is some math, right? I had nothing and now I have $300,000. I had nothing and they paid me a $300,000 death claim. I had $50,000 group insurance and now I got $500,000 for the price of a cup of Starbucks coffee. And how about the fact that we've got $40 billion in assets under management? You know how much money those people would have if they had money in the bank? You know how many people that we started IRAs for? You know how many college educations are being paid today because 30 years ago we started Uniform Gifts to Minors Act with kids? You know how many people today could retire because we talked to them? How can anybody have the guts to say something bad about a system that's been so good to so many people? But see, we let them get away with it, don't we? Right? Because why? Oh, I don't want to be controversial. At some time, you're going to have to say, here's what Art Williams said. I need another sheet here. How wonderful it is to be different. And that's on it. Page 29 of the book. I am controversial and different, and I'm proud of it. Because this kind of person makes a difference in the lives of others. People who are not controversial are not making a difference in the lives of other people. You want to hear something controversial? Your pastor last Sunday. You don't think he's controversial? No, he's talking to who? Like-minded people. But you have him leave that church, go on the city streets of downtown Dallas, preaching that same message. Guess what he's doing? They're throwing eggs at him.
That's right.
You got to go to Washington and preach that message. Don't tell us, tell them, right? We've got to deliver for those we have committed to. Then on page 156, he talks about planting your flag. The slogan of the LA Lakers locker room. Somewhere, someplace, sometime, you're going to have to plant your feet, make a stand, and kick some butt. When that time comes, you do it. You're going to have to stand for something. See, life will take away one vertebrae at a time till you don't have any backbone left.
That's right.
They'll pick on you. I can't believe you're doing that. Why don't you get a good job? Why don't you be like your mother and your father? They had a good job. Well, see, guess what we do? We start cowering. At some point, you got to make a stand. You know, I used to, when I sat down with people in the early days, whole life agents would call us after we replaced one of their policies. They call it, not like today where you never hear anything, right? And they would chew us up and down, and they'd bring out something we hadn't thought about and wasn't trained on. And I'd go back to Virginia. You know, Virginia, I don't know. I was a winner, a whiner, right? I was a second born. Second borns are all whiners and complainers because we're not firstborn. And she finally, about the third or fourth time, she said, hey, Bill, you got to make up your mind. Either we're right 100% of the time, or we're not. We're right, you just don't know. Don't come in here whining and complaining. Come in here saying, Bill, Virginia, I don't understand it. Teach me. I can get that. But don't come whining. I had to take a stand. You got to make a stand about buy, term, invest, the rest. Have you made your stand? You got to make your stand on CDs versus mutual funds. If you take your stand, you got to take your stand on what? 100% off one or 1% off 100. If you made your stand. If you're not recruiting, guess what? You haven't made your stand. You're still debating. Guess what? You can't. Either we're right and they're wrong. They are wrong. What if you spent the last 40 years of your life and me and you? How many lives are affected because you made your stand? Would you be here today, Pat? Would you be here today, Austin? Because what? Well, this is wrong. I need a good job where people will applaud me. And you know what? They're not paying your bills. Art Williams said this. You come to a point where you have to make a decision. When that happens, you fight back. And here's how you fight back. Go recruit more people. You don't fight back by saying smart aleck things to people. You go out there and change your life. You just have so much success, it shuts them up. See, verse says, well, what can I say? Go recruit so many people that person avoids you in the future. Because you know what? They hate us. Oh, crap, Josh is there. Oh, man. I quit Josh 30 years ago. How's it going, Fred? Your wife still working? Your kids still have paper routes? Your kids have student loans, don't they? Oh, yeah. See, that's what they do here. They load their kids up with student loans. They go back and get other degrees that have no value, right? But see, you got to make your stand, Austin, what you have. Pat, you got to make your stand, what you have. Shanika, you made your stand. See, when you make your stand, things start happening.